In the village of Dilhorne in Staffordshire stands this beautiful gatehouse, and behind it used to be the stunning Dilhorne Hall. The hall was unfortunately demolished in 1927, and in its place stands Dilhorne Village Hall. The gatehouse is now a private residence, luckily because it did fall into disrepair. And after the hall was originally demolished, someone did live in this gatehouse up until about 1967. The land where the hall once stood now belongs to the village hall, and is a park. It's open to the public, you can have a walk around. I thought it'd be interesting to go and see what little bits of the hall I could still find, if any, and I was pleasantly surprised. When they actually demolished the hall, they left the vaulted cellars underneath on show, and they still even had wine in them, and the local kids used to play in them before they filled them in and put this on top. One of the interesting things I found from the locals in Dilhorne is that underneath this bowling green are still the vaulted cellars that were the wine cellar to the original hall. There's been a hall here at Dilhorne for a long time. The first record of a hall here was in the 13th century, and that was destroyed and then rebuilt in 1377. This hall was also demolished and then rebuilt in the late 18th century as a 3-storey Jacobean-style mansion. This was then rebuilt in 1830 by the Buller family into the hall that most people know as Dilhorne Hall. This little tunnel is the original ice house. This would have gone to the 1830s hall, and it literally did what it says on the tin. They put ice in there to keep it throughout the summer, because obviously they didn't have freezers. As I wandered through the grounds, there's lots of little snippets of the original hall. The stairwells, the odd walls. And I did find an interesting for sale advert from 1925 that said that there was a walled garden, there was 8 principal bedrooms, a number of secondary bedrooms, kitchen garden, outbuildings, gardener's house, glass houses, garages. And as you head behind the village hall, there's all these little interesting things in this big wall at the back. And I'll show you an old photograph of the hall in a moment, and it looks like these were the glass houses. This was maybe the heating system for the greenhouses, because in a hall this big, the greenhouses would have been massive. They would have provided a lot of the food, they would have provided tropical plants. A lot of people in Victorian times collected plants from all over the world. And I love the fact that they built it into what was like a sandstone rock face, but they've integrated all of these little fires and things. And then you can also see on the grass on the field here, what would have been the foundations of a building, which was probably another outbuilding. But if you look at this picture here, you can see the size of the glass houses or the greenhouses at the back, right at the back where I was just showing you that wall. There's lots of little interesting snippets of things as you walk through the grounds. Lots of different little pieces of brickwork. I'm going to assume that this was also a wall to the walled garden. This goes all the way around. And then this is the top of what I can only assume would be a gatepost, a large gatepost. It's interesting because when the hall was put up for sale in 1925, it didn't sell, so they put it up for auction. And when it didn't sell again, they broke it up and sold every part, including 100,000 dressed bricks. And judging by how much stuff's been left behind, maybe these were not worth anything, maybe these weren't any good. I'm not sure. But it's definitely left a little bit of history for us to go and have a wander around and look at. And we've lost so many of our great homes and halls and castles in Staffordshire that it's nice when there are some remnants left for us to go and look at. Although I have to say I would much prefer it if the original hall was still here for us to look at. But thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out some of my other local history videos.